Alright. How y'all doing? I haven't gone to bed yet. I haven't quite gone to bed though. You can't quite go to bed. You've either gone to bed or you haven't gone to bed. I haven't gone to bed yet. It's like, if I had to watch near 1 o'clock in the morning. Alright. And I was just editing yesterday's vlog, which is a joke in itself given that there practically was no vlog. The last part of that vlog was recorded like right on before midnight. You know, the last couple clips talking to Ram and all that was just before the midnight because the podcast bled over and all that, and I just missed. So there was like no vlog, man. A game and a day, complete bowl. And I actually did a lot more yesterday than play Metro. Right? So like, oh my god, you missed out so much. In fact, sad as this sounds, I actually made someone's day yesterday. Said please and thank you in a store, and the lassie was taken aback. I was like, oh yeah man, it's common courtesy, you're doing a job. What I really wanted to say to the lass was, you know, you is doing a job, right, making it super convenient for me to live my life. If you didn't, you'd make things awkward for me. I should be thankful for all of the people who do their job on a daily, whether it be, you know, retail, you know, you're a receptionist or a shelf stacker or fast food worker, farm, whatever, right? You're doing your job, which is in turn making my life so much more easy and so much more comfortable. If these people didn't do their jobs, my life would suck balls because I'd actually have to do something, deliverymen and all that kind of stuff. I'd have to do things for myself. Do you imagine how much of a ball ache would be if people didn't work at a shop and stack the shelves in a way that you could find stuff? You know, like, you gotta be polite to these people, man. And, you know, so like I went out because I went to help them with some shopping and that, and none of that got into the vlog. And like the idea that it just felt really weird to be back on a Windows machine because I didn't have Belial set up for doing a podcast on the Linux thing. I had like literally 15 minutes to get ready to do the pod, and I had nothing set up. I was like, oh shit! Like everything just turned into a rush about the yesterday, man. It was absolutely mental. Completely mental. But the reason why I'm starting the vlog right now is that sound. Can you hear that sound? That is obnoxious. That is terrible. I think that's my base stations. Those are my Vive base stations. And I'm curious, if anyone else has Vive base stations, are they supposed to sound like that? That's loud as fuck. And I suffer quite bad with tinnitus a lot of the time. That is terrible. And someone will say, well, why don't you tell your base stations to go to sleep? I would, but a lot of people recommend you just leave them on because they have moving parts in them. And every time you stop them, there's a chance that they'll fail. And they ain't cheap. They're like £130 each. But that's... to hear that all day from both sides of the room. I mean, hang on. That one is higher pitch than that one, but it's still absolutely terrible. And it ruins audio. It's awful. Sounds like there's something else making the sound too. Like a power supply or... oh, I hate it. I'm really sensitive to kind of high winds. Ugh. Ugh. Oh, and I've got to check my VR headset tomorrow because one of Charlie Spaniel What About Me's mates came round and just today and just like steamrolled the place. Old Ben came round, and even though Charlie Spaniel What About Me is supposed to be wounded, as soon as his mate came round, he was just like, oh mate, and was just like running around like a complete nugget. So And I can't be trying to play through entire games in a day. I'm too old for this shit. But I'm probably going to do it tomorrow because I really want to play it now. I really want to play Metro Exodus right there now, but I can't because I've got stuff to do. Actually, no, I haven't, but not until tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to bed. See you in bed.
I really need to get out of bed. Huh. Alright then. Cool. That must be you. Ooh. Cool. Very cool. Today's getting exciting. Ooh. Did it.
Right. First things first, Steam VR on Linux. You have the options to put your base stations to sleep, but they don't work. It doesn't work. They just never seem to connect. Steam VR will see them, but it won't actually let you change the settings to make them power down. Which is really, really, really annoying. Before anyone jumps like, oh mate, don't worry, there's scripts you can run. There's third-party scripts on GitHub. I know, just no. This stuff needs to be fixed by Valve. There are a lot of things in Steam VR that need to be fixed by Valve. I don't care that the Index didn't take off like they thought it would. I don't care that the Quest has completely dominated Steam VR. There are things they need to fix. And wouldn't it be funny if they completely bin off base stations for the Index 2 if there is ever another Valve VR headset?
You comfy, mate? I was under the impression, mate, that you had gone to the allotment too, mate. Instead, mate, you just going, apparently I can't hold a camera to save my life. Because you're there. Not there, mate. Oh, God, you is our thick woman, mate. I know, I'm sorry.
Show, don't tell. That's a thing that I have a problem with, and I've had a problem with for a long time. For a few reasons on this run of the vlog. Back in the day, it became a lot more tell, don't show. Repeating at this point, and I don't like it. Once upon a time, I always used to carry around a camera with me. We all carry around cameras with us all the time now. We just do. It's called your phone. But I don't like using my phone for, well, really anything, if I had to be completely honest with you. Phones annoy me. It's a choice. It's not something wrong with the phone, but like, I'm a pretty welcoming guy. I know I don't come across like it. I look like I'm the kind of guy that would kick the ever-loving shite out of an ethnic minority, but for the most part, I'm a pretty welcoming guy. First impressions aside, right? I rub people up the wrong way all the time, but if I bump into you in the streets, I don't mind having a chat. If you knock on my door, I don't mind welcoming you in. It's not that big of a deal. But phones really, really, really get on my tits. Which is actually kind of funny, but I'll get to that too. If you bump into me in the streets, that's completely organic, that's completely out of the blue. For the most part, likely, okay? Just walking down the street, mind your own business, and hey, there's your mate, and all of a sudden conversation comes up. But the phone opens the door to nuisance. At least in my case, anyway. We've got connections to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thousands of people, right? But there's always a time when someone gets it into their head that they will be the only person to wing you a message, or they'll be the only person to try to call. And they'll probably have the same idea as maybe 3 other people, 4 other people, or more. And you find yourself either being distracted by your phone all day, or being incredibly rude as you ignore the damn thing. And there's a balance to it. It's gotten to the point for me where I would rather just not have a phone. I would often have times where friends would just call all the time, all day, and it would make me pull my hair out with stress because I wouldn't get anything done. I wouldn't want to be rude just in case there was anything kind of important going on, or if they needed anything. Because I say, you know, hey, I'm always about, if you need anything, just give me a shout. And they would always call for the most bollocks of reasons. They're bored. The reason this is kind of like a bit funny is because I'm also the guy that doesn't really have that many friends locally. I do, but I don't see them much. I've got this groove where if people need me, they come to me. I won't go to them. I'm generally pretty happy being an antisocial prick. Most of my friends are out of town, which would require a phone or a computer, so you'd have to send a message or actually make a call or whatever to be able to contact me, so it kind of goes counter to the way that I choose to live. But one of my mates, as an example, will only ever call when he's bored. Every day, without fail. Or at least he used to. The calls could last for 6 hours. You could stop the call, end the call, say, look, I'm busy, I'm working. And you'd go back to your work. And I've had to bin entire projects because the guy would call back within 15 minutes. And go, hey, yo, what's going on? You know, what are you doing? It's like, it's none of your business, I'm working. Look, I'm working. There's nothing to do with you. I've got to get on with my work. And you have to scrap, and then everyone gets angry because your phone went off or everyone else's phone's on airplane or whatever. I used to have a bit of trouble back in the day with my boys. So I would occasionally get phone calls when I'm out and about, so I'd have to have my phone available at hand, but then it also made doing things kind of chaotic. Now, the thing is with this mate, he only called when he was at work too. And it's like, okay, you've got a job to do it. Yeah, but I'm bored, so I'm calling you. I said, yeah, but I've got a job to do, and you're stopping me from doing my job. And then if he's off work, he doesn't call, because he's got his own shit to do. It's people respecting or not respecting your time, which is why I have such a strict between 10 and 2 these days, go away. Because I'm busy. Leave me alone. I refuse to answer the phone. Even if Lizzie, Queen Lizzie goes, alright mate, how you doing? Fancy a pint? Fuck off, Liz. Not today. So I don't like carrying around phones. And as far as carrying around cameras, they're too fucking big, man. Too big. I've gone through so many cameras over the years. They've gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, not smaller and smaller and smaller. I guess because the bigger the camera, the better the quality, right? Like, they can't compete, the smaller point and shoots can't compete with smartphones anymore as far as size and versatility. So you have to buy a bigger thing with a bigger sensor, and it barely fits in your pocket. And don't get me wrong, I've had those. I've gone from point and shoots for kind of walking around doing vloggy stuff to the kind of bigger, like thicker things that you'd have to have like a holster to carry around with you, although thankfully I have massive pockets, so it wasn't too big of a deal, but they're too big. And now I have another problem that's kind of self-inflicted, in that realistically I only have 2 cameras that I can run on my video editor for audio. Only 2 cameras have the option to not use AAC audio. My video editor of choice, DaVinci Resolve, at the moment on Linux, my choice, doesn't support AAC audio in most video formats. So, unless I were to actually sit there and re-encode the audio, which I don't want to do, you can't use most cameras. The only cameras I have are the GH5 and the iPhone. The iPhone? So why don't you use the iPhone? Well, I've just explained a bunch of reasons as to why, and that means I also can't use my Android phones, because they don't offer the support there either. But a really stupid reason as to why I've not used my iPhone, at least over the last couple days. It's this thing. It's an Apple Watch. It's been something I've been trying to do with this for literally days. When I first got it, I swear it worked in a heartbeat, but in recent history it's been arguing with me. Funny enough, it's actually started working today, but it's really fucking slow. What? Audiobooks. I don't often take that thing off these days just because I've been using it as a sleep tracker and because me and my mate were supposed to be doing some stupid stuff. In fact, actually, funny enough, the same mate that calls me all the time, we were supposed to be doing some stuff to encourage him to get into shape. And we haven't. I use it as a sleep tracker. There's billions of other sleep trackers out there. I think I actually have another one that'll do sleep tracking, but I have that one. Why not use that one? I kind of fell back into the Apple ecosystem when the kids got iPads. I don't actually like smartwatches, and yet I use one anyway. I find it, again, to be a bit more of an annoyance because I now have notifications attached to my wrist all the time. However, that has a nice feature with Audible audiobooks that allows you to sync audiobooks to the watch. So that for some reason you can't use the speakers, but if you have headphones about, you can pair them to the watch and listen to your audiobook from the watch. So I can choose to leave my phone and still carry my audiobooks. I used to do this a really old school way, as people should. I used to use one of these. It's a dinosaur style device. It's called a DAP. Right? Or an MP3 player. They're not MP3 players as such anymore because they play all kinds of media, not just MP3s. I used to carry one of these around with buckets and buckets and buckets of audiobooks. I'd download them from Audible. I would convert them into a different codec. But you just said, converting codecs? Fuck off. And then I'd carry all my music and this around on here so I could leave my phone at home. See, thankfully, I've solved all the issues that would require me to have my phone on all the time back in the day. So I can just leave it at home and other people kind of pick up the slack for me, to be honest with you. But the iPhone has had a bit of an issue since I had to reset my Apple Watch. And I've been trying to sync audiobooks to it and it would regularly as clockwork fail. For days I have been trying to sync like 4 audiobooks to the damn thing and it just sits there. Yeah, watch will stop responding. Yeah, can't connect to the watch. Yeah, we just can't do it. And it's like taking days and days and days to sync over these books. Today, it might be the finished. It's so annoying though, I can't just use the speaker on the watch. I'm going all over the place. Fuck it. Look, see? Right there. History of the future, 47 to 56, 7%. It's been doing that all day. Anything with the watch icon on it has been synced up. But when I was upstairs, laid in bed this morning, I was just sat there watching as the phone would sync the books. I've done some of these syncs before. I swear it didn't take half as long. See, the thing is, the iPhone's a bit jank, really, in that it doesn't like doing background processing because RAM management, power saving. But if I've given it a job, can it at least finish the job without me having to force the app to stay open before it decides that the app doesn't need to be used or held in RAM or slipped into a kind of an idle state? It's really, really dumb. It's one thing I just don't understand about iPhones. I can't believe it. You upload a video from your phone to YouTube, from your iPhone to YouTube, you have to keep the YouTube app open whilst it's uploading. Even if the device is on, even if it's plugged in, you still have to keep that app open or it doesn't actually process the upload. It just pauses. And I imagine it's the same with the whole audiobook thing. That's why I've not had my phone the last few days, or one of my phones, which is why I've not been out doing the recording stuff. It's absolutely terrible. And in fairness, actually, I should probably throw out there that because people have now got it into their heads that I don't carry a phone as much, people aren't as likely to get arsey if they send me a message and I don't reply, or if they call and I don't answer, because a lot of people now know that I'm kind of old school in my methods. I do a lot of stuff, like I mentioned yesterday actually, that I thought that I'd crashed Metro Exodus by tabbing out of the game because I was replying to messages on my PC. All of my stuff happens at this desk, just like it would have done when I was younger. If I'm not at my desk, I don't get the data. Okay, so like I won't get, when you're younger, probably not for a lot of people out there, because there are a lot of people who are like born in the smartphone generation, but when I was younger, the internet wasn't something you carried around in your pocket. Like, it was gonna become a thing, we all dreamed about it, but it wasn't quite a thing yet. We still had dumb phones and stuff that you could only send texts from and that kind of stuff. But like, if I weren't at my computer, I didn't have internet access. So you couldn't send me a message on, if you pretend that some of these services existed, but like, you wouldn't have been able to send me a message on Facebook and for me to automatically reply, because I wouldn't have been connected to the internet to get the message, to read it, to reply to it. Emails, go back to my actual time, Yahoo Messenger, MSN, IRC and stuff. If I wasn't sat at my desk, if I wasn't sat at a computer, I wouldn't get the thing. And that's kind of how I now have things set too. So if you send a tweet, I won't get your tweet until I sit at this desk. I won't get your Facebook message until I'm sat at this desk. I won't get WhatsApp or Signal or whatever else unless I'm sat at this desk. Now, WhatsApp is a bit of an odd one in that I have to have my phone on for WhatsApp desktop to connect, but everything else, it's all done here. So if I go away and someone tries to message me, chances are I'm not going to get it, just like back in the day. I don't like being hugely connected, because then that way no one can assume that I'm being rude. You just can't assume I'm being rude because I don't have the ability to get your message or reply to it. I kind of like that. Again, it's another self-inflicted thing, but there you go. Now, if you haven't noticed, it's a bit on the dark because it's late. I got distracted by food, which was delicious, by the way. It smelt fantastic. You can't smell through video just yet, but I'm sure one day in the future you'll be able to. It'll probably suck though at first, so everything will smell like a pillow full of farts. But technology will mature. Food was great, and then my laptop, if anyone remembers, I've got the G14 Zephyrus, and a little while ago it kept on saying that it needed to run check disk, and then it stopped running check disk on startup, but then would keep on coming up with the error in security saying it needed to run check disk, like things weren't running on startup. Well, I got an update notification today, restart your machine to install updates, and found it wasn't installing updates either. Updates are important. So I decided, as I did a bit of cleanup on the machine when it first started going a bit funky, I would get the rest of the data off as quickly as possible, at least the mission critical stuff that I had space to move, and then I would just nuke it. So I've nuked the laptop with the recovery partition that's on the drive, and then it's now installing updates. It's now got Windows 11 on it again. It's installing updates. I don't like Windows 11, to be honest with you, but it's functional again now, and there is no check disk dirty bit warning in the security section either. So problem solved. I've just now got to faff around with reconfiguring absolutely everything, but I don't think I'm going to bother, because on Wednesday I'll probably nuke and repair the damn thing again. So I've got another drive to come in, and I'll probably just put the internal drive that's in it now in storage, pop a new drive in it, reinstall everything, and just see how that goes. Which is actually kind of cool, because I had a couple of errors with a piece of, was a Vive port. I uninstalled it, but it wouldn't uninstall it, so the machine still thought it had Vive port installed, even though you couldn't actually hit the uninstall button on it. It just, clean installs really gets on my nerves when things aren't quite the right. But yeah, hopefully if I can get the last of the books and that installed, I'll start doing more video-y stuff out and the about. I mean, because I used to use this. I used to use this a lot. I replaced my Cybershot, PowerShot, G9X, GX9. What was it? This one of those letters in one of those orders. This is a Panasonic G9X X9. This is a GX9, so the other one would have been a G9X from Canon, I think it was. I had one of those. I broke one of those. Bunch of Sonys and stuff. I broke loads of cameras, and they've just been slowly and surely but getting thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker. As I say, this won't even let me. The audio won't go into my video editor, which I've already made complaints about. DaVinci, codecs, I hate licenses, just so stupid. In a world where everything should be super convenient, it just fucking isn't, and sometimes the old ways are the better ways. I've got no problem with people messaging me and stuff, just as long as people understand that I'll get it when I'm at here. You know? It's just nice sometimes just to be able to put it down and walk away. If you don't know where I am, the people who are supposed to know where I am will know where I am. The people who need to get hold of me will be able to get hold of me. Everyone else, though, has to wait. I'm now gonna... It's down there on charge. I'm gonna head off. Try and get an early night, because I get to go and watch Sonic, the movie 2 tomorrow. So, I hope you're well. Long-winded way of saying I'm an antisocial prick. And I'll see you all with a bit of luck in the next one.